Neil Johnson. So excited to be with you and share this great news. Folks, there's another story on Fani Willis. I was running with the whole Jim Jordan exposure in the House, but something else just came out. I just saw that the petition to disqualify Fani Willis just passed 60,000 signatures. This is great news too. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. Really quickly though, I do want to mention my sponsor. That's Midas Gold, MidasGoldGroup.com, or text Lumberjack to 232-425 to get free silver with a qualifying order. Real money, folks. Real Kraken money. This is a proof. Real shiny. Anyways, but yeah, just get some silver bullion type stuff. Anyways, do what you do. I have it as my end of the world scenario. Let's see who's on the stream here really quickly. We've got Deborah from Fort Worth, Texas. I've got Geneva from Kentucky. I've got Tina is on. Thank you for modding for me again today, Tina. And Ferris and Donald Hop and Southern Louisiana and Lawrence from Humble, Texas. Please do chat in with where you're from. Smash that like button if you would. So here's the deal. I'm going to start with the disqualification. Then I'm going to get into what's going on in the U.S. House of Representatives with Fani Willis. But Fani Willis disqualification petition passes 60,000 signatures. A petition to get Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis disqualified from former President Donald Trump's election interference case has received 60,000 signatures. Of course, she's prosecuting, 19 people down there. But in the last few months, the attention is turned away from that case because Willis has proven to be a fraud. Scandal pertaining to romantic relationships, finances, all of that. And they keep saying this in the news media that she was allowed to remain on the case but Nathan Wade had to be disqualified. That's not the case. The issue was that she could have disqualified herself. She did not. She chose to disqualify the guy she dumped. That's Nathan Wade. All right. Anyways, the petition is from the American Center for Law and Justice. Okay. That is, a conservative organization. Obviously, many of you know Jay Sekulow. He heads that up. But the case is being appealed and we're taking action, the petition reads. Our senior legal team, including our own former Georgia prosecutor, is filing a critical amicus brief urging the Court of Appeals to hear this vital case and disqualify DA Willis. By the way, if you don't know what an amicus brief is, that's what's called a Friends of the Court brief. And this is where people with strong legal knowledge in areas will then file that brief for the judges to read in their decision-making process. They're actually very important, and they're very costly to do as well. The case isn't just about President Trump. This is about ending the two-tiered system of justice and defeating political prosecutions. Georgia is ground zero in this fight. The petition continues. We are filing on behalf of every American because this impacts you, your vote, and our entire constitutional system of justice. That's one thing about this. We can look at a situation down in Georgia, okay, where this is taking place, and you can say, well, that's Georgia's call. Well, it's not when we're talking about our candidate for president of the United States of America. When this racketeering, gosh, thanks so much, God's Child, for that great super sticker. But it's, when you're looking at this, you're seeing that this corrupt move to get rid of Trump involved not only the prosecutor's office down in Georgia, but then also Joe Biden's office, the J6 committee, and so on. This is the RICO. I've said that before. So anyhow, speaking to Newsweek, Matthew Mangino, a former district attorney in Lawrence County, Pennsylvania, said a petition with signatures will have no bearing on the appeal. However, an amicus brief may be submitted to the court when a group has an interest in the case, even though they are not directly a party. The phrase amicus brief, or friend of the court brief, there it is, provides an opportunity to offer outside legal analysis that can be helpful to the court. This group appears to be overtly political, but in Georgia, there is no prior permission needed to file an amicus brief as long as the filer complies with the rules of procedure. So that's the liberal take on that. So I just wanted to get that out there. But they're right. A court does not have to obviously listen to the petition, but the petition is important in showing that we're sick of it. Okay. So that is a real thing. So now I want to get on to the larger news, though, which was Fani Willis's former employee is giving Republicans information. So I've covered this before, but a former employee of Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is reportedly giving information to Republicans amid their probe on how federal funds were used by her office. So people, this all relates back to federal grant money that then they spent on, they're on record. People, I covered this on a previous stream. I just want you to know they are on record. If you didn't see that, hey, yeah, we can go buy new MacBooks, and that's they just wanted to take grant money and spend it on, things that would further their lifestyle through this government. That was a federal grant, so it's federal funds. It's your tax dollars. Of course, they're just printing the money anyways, so it's actually our grandchildren's tax dollars, maybe our great-grandchildren's at this point. This is wild, people. On Thursday, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan appeared on Fox Business Network Mornings with Maria to speak out about a report from the Washington Free Beacon about how the investigation into Willis's office used federal funds following information provided by a whistleblower. And here's what Jordan said. God bless the whistleblower. We've talked with the whistleblower. She's giving information to the press, to us. Now the Department of Justice is looking into this. Oh gosh, that'll kill it. All kinds of problems with Fani Willis and this ridiculous investigation she's run on President Trump and others. By the way, I want to take this to yesterday. There was a vote to kill the FISA court extension. Now, I actually commented on Representative Don Bacon's Twitter thing, because he was saying about how good this was and how we're not going to be able to stop terrorists if we don't have this. And I couldn't help myself. He said, we had a provision in there that any FBI agent, I can't even get through this without laughing. I'm sorry. Listen to this. This is a sitting congressman from Nebraska. He's in the U.S. Congress, and this is what he said. This is almost as dumb as Maxine Waters trying to look through solar eclipse glasses and talking about the moon is made up of gas. So he said, and I quote, in his thing, we had protections in place so that if any FBI agent acted wrongly, they would be put in jail. I couldn't help myself. I said, oh, an FBI agent who acted wrongly would be put in jail by who? The Department of Justice and the FBI? I'm sure they're going to get right on top of that when they are obviously using the FISA court to spy on Americans, to spy on a presidential candidate. Now they're going to be all interested in justice against the people who are using it. When they continue to show us time and time again, they're not interested in justice, but political persecution and prosecution. Does this make sense to any of you guys? Do you think Don Bacon is telling the truth or lying? I think he's a big rhino flip-flopper out of Nebraska. And I can't. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't think Don Bacon believes his own words. Okay. The moon going for $4.15 per gallon. Thanks, Rico Suave. I'm just curious. I mean, I'm not a fan of Don Bacon. What do you guys think? Do you think Don Bacon actually believes what he's saying, or is he just full of crap? I would say full of crap, but I'm curious as to your thought. But that they're not going to utilize the FISA court to do their illegal crap and then go, oh yeah, you know what? Now that there's this thing in the law that says the law already says, Don Bacon, North Maine guy, is a congressional representative from the great state of Nebraska, which should have an obvious real conservative. There's a guy running against him. Since you've asked this question, I think I might have reached out to him on X today, the guy running against Don Bacon, to check in for an interview. But here, okay, this is my exact comment. Here, I'm going to read Don's comment. So, and then I will read my exact reply. The guy running against him is Dan Free. It's Frei, Dan Free. You can follow him on X. I follow him on X, so if you go to my X handle down below, click on that, and then just go to who I'm following, you will find this guy, okay? Dan Free, okay? So here's what Don Bacon posted. Our primary opponent is clueless here. Our FISA bill enables us to attack foreign threats while making 51 different reforms to protect our 4A rights. For example, if FBI agents violate the law, they will do jail time. I will defend America against foreign threats and defend our 4A. We need critical thinkers, not folks in the echo chamber. Okay? So I responded to him and I said, Don, you are so disingenuous and we see through it. Who is going to put the FBI agent in jail? I'm sure the DOJ and FBI will get right on that. You aren't defending America against anything. Okay? So Dan Free appears to be a reasonably good candidate. Nebraska mom, who has been in it with Eric Swalwell, who needs to get sued. We'll see if that happens here. I'm hoping that class action lawsuit gets filed here pretty soon against Eric Swalwell. But nonetheless, that's who he is down in Nebraska. So I don't believe that at all. Okay. So back to now the Department of Justice is looking into this. This is what got us off track in the first place. All kinds of problems with Fani Willis in this ridiculous investigation she's run on Trump and others. Earlier this year, Jordan and the Republican-led House Judiciary Committee issued a subpoena to Willis's office requesting documents relating to her office's receipt and use of federal funds. Okay, and again, we've already seen the intel on that and what the people were saying. Willis has faced criticism from Republicans since her election interference case against former President Donald Trump and 18 co-defendants. The presumptive, okay, he is the Republican nominee, he's not presumptive, has been accused of conspiring to overturn Joe Biden's 2020 election win. I can't get through it. Accordingly, so I want to just read to what Jordan had to say. While you have indicated that additional documents may be forthcoming in response to the committee's subpoena, the committee has yet to receive any additional responsive materials in the 3 weeks since your initial response, Jordan said in a letter last month requesting more information from her office by March 23rd. Accordingly, the committee expects that you will produce all responsive documents to the subpoena in the categories prioritized by the committee by March 28th. Now, obviously, she's not doing that, and she says she can't because her job is so important. But again, if you're going to, avoid congressional subpoenas and stuff, it appears that the new standard, I mean, look at what happened to, people like Peter Navarro. Apparently, you should go to jail. So, a couple other headlines I want you guys to really be aware of, and this is something that the Democrats have done a good job with their media cohorts of doing, is faking the employment numbers and then coming out with the real numbers a month later. But March, inflation runs hot again, driven by gas prices and rent. And on top of that, home ownership costs are skyrocketing, and I think anybody out there knows. But after all of this, after the middle class is getting dumped on with inflation and higher interest and all of that, listen to this. After promising not to, the IRS army Democrats expanded is targeting guess who? Who do you think the big new army of IRS agents, the 87,000 agents, because every time they tell us that something's going to happen, what do they tell us? First, they tell us, oh, it's not going to happen like that. And then when it does happen like that, they tell us it's not a big deal. Okay, yeah, please do smash that like button. Do chat in with where you're from. But who do you think the IRS is targeting? Are they targeting the billionaires like they said they were going to? Okay, is that what's happening? Are they targeting the poor people who have no money and don't pay any taxes? No, folks, I don't see anybody guessing it, but I will tell you they are targeting the middle class. So, the expanded army of IRS agents is targeting the middle class, which is average conservative folks, as somebody else commented too. So listen to this. The Internal Revenue Service is deploying most of its expanded army of federal tax collectors against the middle class, contradicting Democrats' promises when they hiked its budget by over $80 billion over the next 10 years. President Joe Biden will seek $80 billion to fund enhanced Internal Revenue Service enforcement of high earners. That was what CNN claimed in 2021. NPR claimed in 2022 that the IRS would spend the money, among other things, on hiring new enforcement agents and auditing the wealthiest Americans. Just last month, Bloomberg kept the narrative up, claiming this year's higher IRS spending request from the Biden administration was meant to build up its enforcement efforts on wealthy individuals and companies that aren't paying what they owe. The IRS, that's what they had claimed, and the media parroted it. Well, according to a new audit of the agency, as of just less than a year ago, 63% of new IRS audit inquiries were made to middle-income earners who made less than $200,000 a year. Only a small overall share reached the very highest earners, while 80% of audits covered filers earning less than $1 million, the Wall Street Journal editorial board reported last week. Don't forget to save those charitable giving receipts. That is important. That's one of the things. I've been through an IRS audit, but I had my receipts and my mileage and everything else. And they wanted to see that, to say that, oh my gosh, did you really give that much money to the church? Did you really give that much money? Yes, yes, and yes. And so that's the things. I think they really go after that big time, the donations. So make sure you've got your receipts on those. That's what they're doing. So in spite of the fact that you are paying more for everything, their answer to you, to show you that they're really for you, is doing that. So, yeah, I had a great interview with Mike Lindell yesterday. If you didn't see it, you should check it out. I actually just opened Twitter and look at this. Mike Lindell tweeted out the interview. It isn't about left or right. It's about saving our elections. So he ran that same interview. He actually utilized that then for his show on the Lindell Report on Frank Speech. So now I'm over on Frank Speech too, Mike Lindell. So I call that an accomplishment. By the way, somebody, I really ticked the lefties off. I commented on January 6th post on X, and wow, I mean, if you want to get some lefties coming out of the woodwork, that's it. I think a lot of them are probably bots. Yeah, it was you, Liberty Lion, that reposted that, so I'm odd there. But he's out of Pennsylvania, Liberty Lion, good guy. But the other thing with this is when I posted that, they came out of the woodwork, and one of them commented and said, "You retweet Mike Lindell, so you have no credibility." And I said, "Retweet Mike Lindell? I know Mike Lindell. I talked to Mike Lindell. I'm just the worst you can think of. I've even interviewed Mike Lindell." And he's like, "That's not the flex you think it is." I wasn't trying to flex. I was just trying to confirm all of his terrible thinking about me, actually, is what it was about. So anyways, yes, again, yeah, check out Mike Lindell too. I mean, obviously, mypillow.com, promo code Lumberjack. The guy is doing so much. And in fact, I encourage you. In fact, here, I want to say something because I talked to somebody else who didn't get the pillow they wanted. Call them. Don't even just use the website. Call them at 480, or excuse me, that's Midas Gold. It's 480-360-3000. I'm sorry. And I did 300. Somehow I got it screwed up on there, but it's 3,000. Here, the number for my pillow for Lumberjack Logic is 800-568-2865. And if you call them, they will walk you through the process of getting the right pillow. Because if you get the wrong pillow, you won't like it. I mean, pillows just, you want the right fit. So that I'm just going to tell you, call them. That's how you're going to get the best product. 800-568-2865. You can obviously always go to mypillow.com/lumberjack. But I wanted to tell you something else. This is really cool because this is about you, the audience, and you, my audience. This is almost unbelievable. Mike told me this yesterday. We are the number 2 audience in the nation for Mike Lindell. You guys are the number 2 audience in the nation for Mike Lindell. I'm talking in terms of buying his product. Do you guys understand how big of a deal that is? Meaning, do you know Sean Hannity has a promo code? He has a landing page on MyPillow. Dan Bongino, all these others. And do you know the only audience in the world that's beating us right now? The War Room. Steve freaking Bannon. You guys, it's unbelievable. So I just want you to know that. So you guys, that's you. I mean, that's you. You obviously support him and so on. So thank you for that. But Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that's a big deal. I couldn't believe it. I really could not believe it when he told me that you're the #2 audience in America, just behind War Room. And Steve Bannon's awesome and War Room's awesome. So and Mike said, Neil, that's in spite of, I'm on there all the time doing reads. Your audience is amazing. And so anyhow, just wanted to let you guys know that. So, all right. Oh, JP said, I had thought there was legislation in the House had been working to defund the 87,000 IRS agents, or was that wishful thinking? No. So here's the problem. This is politics in a nutshell, okay? Politics in a nutshell is simply this. They seek headlines, okay? So they'll say, oh yeah, we're going to do this thing and we're going to defund these 87,000 IRS agents, okay? And then they come out after the headlines are gone, so you think they're doing the right thing, then they don't do it. Okay? They don't do it. So, and then you think they've done it. So they just want the headlines to make you think that they're fighting for you when they're not. And then people buy that. And that's why I tell you can't trust the politicians. You can't. Anyways. Don't ever make them into your heroes. Politicians are so rarely heroes, okay? So rarely, all right? So, anyways, yes. Mike Lindell said, I saw somebody said, yeah, War Room's a good promo code, but Mike Lindell said Lumberjack was the best promo code in the nation. He said that yesterday on the show. So anyways, I love y'all. Keep fighting a good fight, all right? See you on the next episode. Peace out.